Let me give you thank you, Chair. Let me give you a different perspective that seems to get lost in this quite a bit. The idea of First Amendment, we're discussing whether or not somebody has the right to be called something, right? We're also talking about the rights of the parents throughout this bill and where they fall into this line. And I think something that's missing also is the rights of the teachers, principals, counselors, all the people that work with these students. Let me help you understand this from my perspective. I'm going to give you my worldview on this because this addresses directly the heart of this bill, in my opinion. I think this bill will coerce and force speech that is unhealthy for a lot of people. Let me explain it this way. This is the foundation of why I'm doing this. I'm a pastor. I've got two scriptures I'm going to read here. In Romans chapter 1, verse 24. So God abandoned them to do whatever shameful things their hearts desired. As a result, they did vile and degrading things with each other's bodies. They traded the truth about God for a lie. So they worshiped and served the things God created instead of the Creator himself, who is worthy of eternal praise. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Because they refused to love and accept the truth that would save them. So God will cause them to be greatly deceived, and they will believe these lies. Then they will be condemned for enjoying evil rather than believing the truth. This is part of my foundational understanding. This is why I stand so strongly against this bill, because I think it goes into an arena that is not constitutional. In fact, I think it's actually directly attacking the constitutional rights of the individual. Booker T. Washington said, "A lie doesn't become truth, wrong doesn't become right, and evil doesn't become good just because it is accepted by a majority." I think it is the right of every person in this room to believe whatever they want to believe. They can believe anything about sexuality of an individual. They have that right. They can say what they believe about those kind of things. But I also have those same rights, and I can say what I believe about those things. What this bill does is it actually stops that from happening, but then makes it punitive if somebody actually says something that they believe is an absolute truth. We've discussed earlier, some people believe in many genders. That's their right. They can believe whatever they want to believe. I don't believe that. I think the word gender is a made-up word that means nothing. Well, that's my foundational belief. You can believe whatever you want, but I also get that belief. And I believe that there is only two sexes, male and female. You can believe anything you want to believe here. But I believe that the Bible says God created male and female. And so that's my worldview. That's my foundation. And everything I do is going to be based and built upon that. And so if you want to verbalize a many-gender ideology, you have the right to do that. But here's where this bill comes in, is no one, not the state, not any individual in this room, can force somebody else to say that. You cannot force somebody to say, I believe in multiple genders, if they don't believe in multiple genders. You cannot force people to buy into an ideology that they do not believe. Not only do I not believe this, it goes against my core spiritual values. So when we use words that you're welcome to use, I don't get up here and attack anybody for using any of these words. But if you use words like dead naming and misgendering, those are your choice of words, And I do not agree with them. In fact, I think they are wrong and immoral. And so if you attack me on that, you're stifling my free speech. If you coerce, force, or make a school teacher, a principal, a counselor to embrace the ideology that is coupled with the language, you are not only stopping free speech, you are forcing speech. And the state has no constitutional right to do that to any human ever. I do not live by the state's rules. I do not live by the state's definitions. I believe that they are wrong, and I believe that they are immoral. And I live by statements that come from the Bible. I believe that the Bible is the place of truth, and I'm going to live by that valued truth that I personally adopt. If you do not believe in the Bible, that is totally your decision. But you cannot tell me that I have to say things that go against my Bible. That is against my religion, that is against my free speech, and that is morally wrong and unconstitutional. And when you're forcing teachers to do this, when you're forcing teachers to keep information from children, I know we had some people that have opinions about parenting. You're allowed to have those opinions. You can have children and have opinions. You cannot have children and have opinions. But you cannot say to me that my children do not belong to me. They do. They have been given to me by God, and I don't care if anyone likes that. They were given to me by God, and I'm going to be accountable to God, not people in this room, not the state. The state cannot tell me what I can do with my children. And if I find out a teacher has been keeping secrets from me about sexuality of my student, of my child that is their student, I will do everything I can to make sure they lose their job. That is against the law, it's against federal law, and you are not allowed to do that. Keeping secrets from parents is against the law. We can try to change it with this kind of stuff, but this is wrong. This is coerced speech. This is forced speech, and it is not okay. You can believe anything you want, but you cannot force me to believe anything you want. I believe that most of this stuff we are dealing with is not only illegal and unconstitutional, it's immoral. Those are my children. And if I want my child to not have a nickname, I get to choose that. Teacher doesn't. And the child only gets to choose his nickname or her nickname if I decide that's okay as the parent. I had these discussions. Now, my children are grown now, but I had these discussions with teachers. I had these discussions with principals, and I made it very clear to them, I am the boss of my children, you're not. You will not ever be the boss of my children. I am. God did not give them to you. He gave them to me. I do not have to accept any of the gender stuff that we discuss. I don't have to. And I refuse to because it's wrong. My understanding, my worldview, and my Bible, it is wrong. So this bill is forcing to the point where they can lose their job, forcing parents to deceive, forcing teachers to deceive parents and to say things that they believe to be wrong. If a teacher thinks this is okay, they have every right to do what they believe is their right within the context of this law. But if you have a teacher that believes this is morally wrong, like I do, and there are many out there, they can lose their job because they are standing for their First Amendment right, they are standing for their religious right to freedom, and they are standing for their moral right to make their own decisions. This is coerced speech, and this is not what America is built upon. Other countries maybe, but not America. We have the First Amendment and we have freedoms. And we are attacking these freedoms. We are attacking our religious sensibilities. We are attacking our moral codes, all because we think we know better and these children don't belong to us. Well, You're wrong. These children do belong to us. And when my children were living in my household, I was the boss of them. They made decisions upon my approval. And it doesn't matter to me whether anybody likes that. That is the way it was. And so you do not have the right to do this. You cannot force these things on us. And if these kind of laws, if these kind of bills become laws, we will immediately walk it into court. Because this is the First Amendment. You cannot do this. You do not have the constitutional right. You do not have the religious right. And you do not have the moral right to do this. So vote how you decide.
All right. Rep. Herod.